into education in this country. And that is why we are having so much brain drain, people going outside the country because they feel like the kind of education they are getting in Nigeria is not good enough.
Okay, so my position is the federal government over the years, we have to make this very clear. Governance. So when you go into agreement with anyone as government, you see it through.
Normally.
That is the only way. But you see, the Nigerian federal government is notorious for, especially in this government ASU thing, for reneging, going back on its word, not just its word, ignoring its signature on agreements. And that's one of the key grievances that ASU always had with government. There's nothing new they are discussing with government. Nothing new. These things, proper funding of education, research, and so on and so forth, it's always been there. Remunerations, everything. And it's not that one party of being responsible for the entirety of the problem. I don't believe this is the truth. I think, ASU also has a problem. Direction. You see, it's always very feeble when we request, university autonomy and so on. It's not something new, it's something that's where we took off. Universities in this country had autonomy. So if you wanted to go to the UI, you went to the. As a matter of fact, if you wanted to go to you have a central system, of entries and so on and so forth. So I believe this is one of the places where the problem is coming from. These things must be rethought. We have to re-engineer our society to make it function, to give us the kind of results that we want, which means universities must be on their own eventually. I'm not saying, that all the money then that used to come to the universities will now go elsewhere. That's not what I'm saying. But it is going to make life easier for everybody in the long run. If you had a lot of these universities having their autonomy, you don't have to go on strike against any government far away.
You're fighting within yourself.
You see your governing council right in front of you, and you are that governing council, and you can make the best decisions. I think that is what we need to, relentlessly push towards. Otherwise, we are going to be talking about this thing for a very long time. We've been doing so. So, ASU against government is like a fixture,
no, just like federal government and labor.
Forever. We keep coming back to it, and we can solve the problem.
And the news are making the rounds, maybe true or not, about the fact that NIN data is being leaked by some people. And then our data will be left for the national identification number and all. And there are news that, some people are selling it for a certain amount or something like that. This news is coming from federal government saying that they have launched an investigation into alleged unauthorized sale of national identification number, following revelations that the personal data of Nigerians were available for purchase online at a fee.
I don't know what is not up for sale in our country.
But this is our data.
Yes, and it's very dangerous.
Exactly.
But it's something that could be taken care of, before it gets really bad. People do these things everywhere. You have very wayward people in any country in the world, in any system. So it's now the responsibility of government, number one, to ensure that does not happen. Now, if it happens, despite your best efforts, I don't know if you will even put best efforts in that regard. If it now happens despite your best efforts, then you ensure that you control, you curtail, very quickly so that it doesn't spread.
All right. So that means we really hope that they do curtail it before it turns into something else. So let's go pay some bills now. While we're back, complete the conversation from the drug abuse aspect.
No, we are not even done on that.
Okay, we'll still have more on
yes.
that. Okay, all right then. Let's go pay some bills. We'll be back.
88.7 FM. Guy, where una dey see all this airtime, credit and data buy for this cashless weather?
Omo, that's one thing now. Dem no dey call me Bobo Digital for nothing. Whether cash dey my hand or e no dey, na so I just dey buy airtime, credit and data straight from my bank account thanks to Glow e-Top Up.
The same Glow e-Top Up?
Yes na, easy top up directly from my bank account. No stress, no wahala.
So, you mean say person won't need worry about not having cash?
At all. If you no get cash, you no get wahala. You are welcome to cashless recharge on the go, anytime, anywhere.
Buy data and airtime directly from your bank account with Glow e-Top Up. It is easy, quick, and available on your mobile apps, ATMs, websites, leading retailers, and Glow World shops. Or download the Glow Cafe app to top up. Or dial *777#.
I'm gonna make that.
No matter waiting, I show you, you show me love.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You show me, you show me, you show me love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
Madam, you don't try this new Lush Hair 4-in-1 no lie relaxer kit. They get free neutralizing shampoo and conditioner join.
What? Me, I not deal.
You're not even sabi wetin dey happen for town. You see this Lush Hair relaxer so?
E no dey pepper, e no dey burn, e go even make your hair shine like oil.
Na so, Lush Hair relaxer kit na correct. Wey no go make your hair cut, wey no go make your hair dry. E no dey pepper and e dey relax hair well. Shikini time. Oh my God!
Lush Hair, 3 beautiful.
My baby is 6 months old.
Oh my!
6 months old? Wow! Now your baby needs more than breast milk. It's time to introduce mashed meals. In addition to breast milk, begin to give your baby mashed meals that contain at least one item from each of these 5 food groups: eggs, fish or meat, fruits and vegetables, oils, beans, groundnuts, soya or millet, rice, potato, maize or yam. From 6 months. In addition to breast milk, your baby needs this combination of food types to grow healthy. This message is from the ANRE Project or your state Ministry of Health.
I'm PTBO, 88.7 FM.
All right, so we're back, and this is still the dailies. In case you are just joining us, you can go straight to our Facebook at Akidibo887 to watch us live right there, Maestro. Yeah, please, we're back and we have the floor concerning the NIN data leak.
Okay, so we should look in the direction of government for a start. In the saying, okay, we will conduct investigations.
Yes.
We'll see where, which is what you do. If you tried to prevent it and you couldn't, it happened. So you have to do everything to ensure it stopped and then treat the mess. But you see, the NIN thing, it has its problems from the scratch. And many people, I remember my comments then, turned in the direction that this NIN thing, what measures did we even adopt to ensure that foreigners did not register as Nigerians on a large scale, and I don't know if we were able to do that. Nothing in the entire story, in the entire NIN narrative told us that, foreigners did not even register as Nigerians on a very large scale. Apart from that, the commission then, the ministry and everything, if you look back, it wasn't a smooth sailing. So perhaps the problem of today could be traced, back in time. but we will see what they come up with eventually.
All right. That is
Then again, Wura, this might be leading us to another round of registration. This is Nigeria.
a re-registration.
Yes,
Wow.
this might be pushing us in the direction of another, which they have been, putting out there. They have been fishing kind of, because I read a story in the recent past about something like this. Like we will register again, another kind of
To
registration.
verify.
So we probably are being programmed into the acceptance of the one they are initiating. This new initiative will now be easy for us to accept when we know that
Exactly.
one of the ones we are holding is compromised. Sometimes they play this kind of games.
It may even be a game.
It's probable.
All right then. We'll see how that will pan out in the coming weeks or even in the coming days. All right, let us talk about drug abuse, because yesterday was the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, which is supposed to be marked annually on June 26th. We missed that yesterday. But then drug abuse is something that should not be taken with levity in our community, in our state, in Nigeria as a whole, especially among youths. Maestro.
Okay, let me show you how bad it is. Give you an idea of how bad it is, apart from what we see and everything. Look at the distance between, this youth, very young people and not so young, who indulge, and Esther Igbekele, who is a gospel singer. I wonder if, have you listened to her?
Yes.
Loud, Colorado, and she reels it off, which tells you how bad it is in the place of preachment. Look at the number of drugs known to her. Maybe in the course of her researching for her song, and it's really gone viral. It's something now that she's known for. So you see the number that you could just count, and that's like half of what's obtainable. And the extent to which the young person is prepared to get his high. They do, soakaways, they do gums, they do just about any despicable thing. It doesn't really matter. You just get your hit. And it is sad. We thank God for this moment in our country, that it is not as horrible as what obtains in places like the United States of America and other parts of the world. I mean, there is an opioid epidemic in the US as we speak, but we see their glossy sides and not so much the sordid reality, of those societies. But then you don't want your own to sleep. I think, against all odds, it comes to me that the NDLEA is doing a good job.
They're doing a good job.
I believe so. It might be even sometimes be kind of overwhelming. But if you see the kind of arrests, busts constantly happening, and then their advocacy too, because they mix with a lot of bodies that are helping to take their message to town. I think they're also doing good in that regard. But I hope that the federal government could help further by concentrating on such performance and finding ways of enhancing it. But you see, ultimately we need to redo our society, because if we don't, you see, there's a way you channel the youth energy into different. The idea of education is to control that youth energy. Because if you leave it, you know what will happen.
All right, a second.
All right. And education and all these things, so that you, at some stage, you go to this school, and when you're done with that school, you go to this one, you go to this one. It's not for fun. It's so that the society will be saved from uncontrolled youth energy. Because look, who fights? The youth. Who runs? Who jumps? Who has that kind of energy? The
And
youth.
strength.
Therefore, there is no reasonable leadership that could afford to lose focus on that energy. And if you lose focus, the more you lose focus on that energy, the worse your society becomes. Because you're looking at the future of your society like that when you're looking at the young person. So we need to reconcentrate, refocus on the Nigerian young person. I don't like the word youth so much because I know it's a ruse that they do, all these politicians doing youth wing and so on and so forth. Everywhere you see youth wing, it's a way of keeping the young person behind them permanently until they are weak and tired, and until by the time they
Part of drug abuse.
it's getting increasingly difficult to even do that. But I think no matter how tough it is, growing up, sparing the rod was almost like unheard of. My generation.
That is what makes you guys toxic.
Well, I don't know. Maybe because we were not beating you guys. Maybe that's why you also turned to drugs. Yes, because look, I'm not advocating corporal punishment. I think it's outdated today. So you can't be beating your kids all over the place because you were beaten. Parenting has moved on from that point. So because if I'm your friend, then I won't be your father the way I should be your father. So this thing is a little bit complicated, but parents have to find out how best to be that child's confidant so that you travel through his or her experiences together and he or she could tell you almost anything that's happening out there. That way, I guess you could now inject your ideas and experience and everything as much as you could. Look, it doesn't mean, sometimes people say even the children of bishops and imams are blah, blah, blah. Look, the title is not the parent. So because you are the child of a bishop, you are even most likely to become wayward. Why? Because the man is busy looking after the lives of other people.
And they are just automatic expectations.
So sometimes they're not even there most of the time. So when they now say, bishop, no. The bishop has gone to take care of a lot of other people's children. And so these things happen sometimes behind when you don't find the right formula. And you see, as parents, you have to keep looking for that formula. And when you get it, you have to keep updating. That's the name of the game today, because it's getting really bad out there with young people and drugs.
All right, then. That's to tell us that parenting is very complicated.
Black and white TV. And it's not the old day. You will go to school or do whatever else. TV will start at 4 o'clock
When you're done with the house
in
chores,
the evening. In the evening. No, it doesn't come on before 4.
It doesn't come on at all.
No.
Wow.
No, it doesn't. So you will see the color bar first before the national anthem in the evening, and then it will now come on. And so you will now watch until they say it's enough. So, and then before us, it turned to color and so on and so forth. But today the kid is growing in front of perpetual TV. It's on the phone.
Yeah.
And you see, the content is endless. So what is your kid being exposed to at very tender ages? So my kid has a phone, but heavily controlled. You're going out? No, it's not going with you, especially to school. So you return, you are not on YouTube, you are not on a lot of things unless it's educative. And even that education, you want to know what is educating. So it requires a lot more concentration today and understanding. But look at it. If your society is not developing properly, then you have an army of illiterates as parents, uneducated. So we have to find a way as responsible broadcasters that Agidigbo is, to find a way to make a lot of translations and such advocacy, and then get it to those parents
To sensitize them.
so that they will now know that, oh, okay, this thing I can't give my kid because I can afford to give my kid. I have to ask questions when she returns or he returns, and so on and so forth. I think in a poor country, we shouldn't be poor, but we are. So in this kind of situation, we have to have that strong foundation for our kids, because it's really dangerous out there.
All right then. Let us come straight down to Oyo State, where we have a couple of news on that. The first one is the fact that President Tinubu has approved the upgrade of Ibadan Airport to international status, and that is they have to start working on that as soon as possible. Also, we have the story coming from the State House, and that is on house politics, if I may say. Because now this one says, Oyo lawmakers are daggers drawn with Speaker, and that is where we have 11 first-time Oyo lawmakers petitioning Makinde and Speaker over funds, others. And the basic gist is the fact that today we are going to see how things will pan out, but if we have these 11 people coming, maybe the speaker might be impeached. If the speaker is somewhat fast enough, and maybe we are going to see this 11 lawmakers moving out of the house. Something.
It's not going to happen that they will move out of the house. They will be in the house.
Suspended.
Well, I don't know. But I think, from our experience, the decision will not be taken inside the House of Assembly. And look, I'm not saying anything special.
Yeah.
You read it out that they petitioned the governor. Why are you petitioning the governor over house matters? That's the executive arm of government, and you are the legislature, and so you're supposed to handle your affairs like that. But because they have that, this is reality. The reality is, and it's not so nice. That reality is not so nice for democracy. But the reality is that whoever that decision will come from outside of the assembly, and that's the executive governor who is going to say, okay, so let's sort this out. And they will sort it out, and then it will fizzle out, and it will become a non-event. But if the governor believes that there's been genuine infringement and maybe his interest affected, then you might see a little earthquake.
On the front line of what is actually causing all this is the fact that they are complaining about what they got from government for the recent Eid al-Kabir celebration.
So it's
coupled with
they don't fight for us.
No. And then secondly, with the non-release of funds for empowerment in their constituencies.
They don't
but
fight.
That's the first one.
They don't fight for us. Even the constituency thing is still the same thing. Whether it's the State House of Assembly or the National Assembly, when they fight, you will see that it boils down to their interests. Nobody is going to fight like that because of education, of health, and so on and so forth. You don't see that kind of fight. But when you hear this type of fight, it's about money. It's about, their entitlements. Right, wrong, it's about their entitlements. And I don't think it's an issue. They've already petitioned. They've sent their petition to the number one. And number one will rally everybody and say, look, don't let's wash our linen here and there. And you see, by tomorrow, it's no longer news.
All right, let us go to Rivers politics. The news we had yesterday about suspected bomber who they were looking for yesterday. They found him, and he's in intensive care somewhere. And now that they've seen him, we have the governor of the state saying this is like a plot from people that are asking for state of emergency, because it is actually in the news today that we have protest already that please we need you to declare state of emergency in this state right now. So according to Fubara yesterday, he said this is just a part of the plot, because if it were to be that it happened the way they wanted it, and it's what they wanted it to happen yesterday, we'll start hearing, okay, we need state of emergency in this place and all of that. It is what? I'm not fighting anybody. If I am fighting, people will know that I am fighting. My pattern will change. What we are doing is to defend ourselves, so we just can't fold our hands. Only a tree will be standing and somebody will come and cut it off. And somebody thinks, or some people feel their own life, right? And just the speech is just somewhat long. But,
It's long and it's ineffective, unfortunately, because it could be saying a lot of other things that would be stately and befitting of his position as governor of that place. Unfortunately, I don't think he has it in him. And he's not surrounding himself with people who could even put such speeches together, unfortunately. The truth is, I cannot believe anything he's saying. I cannot also not believe anything that weakest people are saying. In this instance, we have seen something that the police should be in on, and we should only listen to the police in this instance. I don't know if it is true that somebody strapped himself up with the dynamite and then blew himself, and that was somehow premeditated in order to make the president bring about state of emergency, and the issue must be as simplistic as that. It's difficult for me to believe all that, because see, the narrative yesterday was even dual. We had on the one hand somebody who got injured by blowing up something.
yes.
We had on the other hand somebody who died.
Exactly.
The other person ran away after, So, and nobody is showing us, okay, this is the guy. I mean, the governor should have been able to visit the ICU so that we will know, oh, this is the guy, this is the extent of the injury. And then we might be able to piece some things together. That with this kind of injury, would you have been able to run? And so on and so forth. But we can't really probe this issue. Therefore, we can't believe any of the combatants. But we can listen to the police after conducting their investigations that this was what actually happened.
All right, then let's go for commercials. When we're back, we'll continue the conversation in the studio. We'll be back.
88.7 FM.
ọmọ mi ti oṣù mẹ́fà ẹ bá mi dúpẹ́ oṣù mẹ́fà ẹ bá mi dúpẹ́ ó ti yẹ kó oṣù mẹ́fà nìyẹn ọmọ máa ń pẹ́ dàgbà o báyìí o ọmọ rẹ ti wá nílò ju omi ọyàn nìkan lọ àkókò tí bàbá ti máa fún ní oúnjẹ fífọ́ ní àfikún sí ọyàn.
Kapingbo, you sabi? Say na 40 we dey come on. Wahala. As in. Which one?
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200
Those kind of
while
trades,
Super Pack is now
they everly made.
So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
Ó yá gbà ọmọ mi ọ̀wọ́n.
Mami, àti mílíkì sí ni.
Kò di dandan ìwọ tó wò ná.
Báwo lè ṣe ṣe?
Ǹjẹ́ mílíkì mú ìpéye?
Ní gidi gan.
Ṣé ọ̀rá wàrà náà ṣàtò?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Lílọ́ 3-in-1 Milky and Creamy nìyẹn o. Mílíkì mú ìpéye mi ò nílò láti ṣàfikún mílíkì sí i.
Mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀ màámi.
fún àwọn ọmọ rẹ ní Milo 3-in-1 milky àti creamy tuntun mílíkì inú ẹ̀ péye ó kún fún calcium láti ràn wọ́n ọmọ rẹ lọ́wọ́ láti yege lójoojúmọ́. Milo, agbára láti tẹ̀síwájú.
Hello. Ah, if you do this picture, we'll show am for Facebook. If you go nation.
The nation. This picture going.
Yes, this news. Should make a press
Is it the
am.
news or just this phone?
The news and this picture, Gogola fellow, and Legal the
Screenshot
lily
now.
over in this address.
I sent you.
Okay, fine.
Nurture them for the future.
I am pregnant.
Maybe
It is
when she's-
important for me to take care of myself and stay
That's
healthy.
spell like that.
To be strong and have a healthy pregnancy, take iron and folic acid tablets every day when you're pregnant. This prevents anemia and helps maintain a healthy
Hey, thank
pregnancy.
you, Lord.
Visit your healthcare provider for regular antenatal care. This message is from the Iron Project or your state Ministry of Health.
That's it.
I don't say nothing.
Put 2 roundabouts. Anoint the package with a slim thick shaki and
Which teeth will you eat all this orishi? That's your teeth will be like we have motor jam truck. You know they worry you again.
that one now before. All thanks to the new Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection. That's right. The new Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection toothpaste gives you complete oral protection with fluoride and antibacterial zinc to keep your teeth strong, prevent tooth hole, and fight bacteria.
Please have to go buy my own new Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection toothpaste.
Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection for your important oral care needs. Available in a blue gel.
On PTO 88.7 FM.
All right, we're back. Maestro, what is going on in Kenya? We have the Kenyan president Ruto now. He bows to pressure, withdraws attacks, hikes after deadly protest. Wow.
Yeah, you have this very virile protest system, let me say, and history in Kenya. I think it's because of the way that society evolved. They fought Mau Mau War against the British and all that. It's very, very powerful. And I think they carry that into their modernity. So if you remember, you could recall the very terrible clashes following the Raila Odinga episodes. That's their presidential elections and everything. So it's a very stiff setting when Kenyans decide to have their uprising like that. And so I guess the man saw the handwriting on the wall and decided to take a couple of steps backwards to save his government and to placate the people.
All right then. Because okay, let's not go to that. Let's not incite.
In case it happens in Nigeria, it doesn't work. Let me assure you that no, we can discuss it.
Okay.
The truth is, it doesn't work like that in Nigeria. And
Or it can't work like that in Nigeria.
I don't think it could. Because of certain deeper features of our nationality. You have two key factors in Nigeria which the politician weaponizes against such things when they happen. And that's region and religion. Region, your ethnicity. Religion, how you worship, your worship system. So these two factors are weaponized against any kind of uprising you have in this country. If you look at our history, where do you have protests? The West, not the North. Now, even in the southern part, you have it more in the western, region area. We're the ones with, we're the ones with confronting the British from the days of Macaulay, Alimoto Pelewura, and the president's mother, Abibatu Magaji, because some people don't know where this man is coming from. So that's another, history. But we have always been like that. In the southern parts, because if you look at the Igbo and so on, they're kind of Republican, in their setting, and they can protest against the hierarchy. In the West, we have our protest systems, even before the white man came. So this is how we built. In the northern parts of the country, mostly, you simply followed, your leader and so on, the Sarki and everything. And so that also came with us into, and when you look at heavy protests like tax protests in the past, it was here, not the north. Whether the Nwanyerua led, tax riots from Abbas setting, or you're talking about Funmilayo Ransom Kuti led in Ake here.
It's always from this side.
It's always here. So, and if you look at how it evolved, we had a massive one in the Nigerian Civil War. It's a protest which built into that. And then if you look at the next thing to that was the June 12 riot, crisis. It's here down south. And so if you now had something even as bad as the Sani Abacha administration, where would you have protests? You won't have protests in the north. So you have protests in the southern parts of the country. If you had something as bad as the SAP riots, it's going to happen here. It's not going to happen in the north.
Not in Nigeria as a whole.
So nothing is going to move us as one. As a matter of fact, even, those things that bind us together, like petroleum, like foreign exchange, what else? We don't move as one, no matter how bad it hits us. And so when you look at this thing, the other one, Lekki, what was that one called? NSAS protests, for instance. While that was going on, what were the young people in the north saying? They said they wanted SARS.
Yes.
So we don't want to end it in the north here. So you have to see from that perspective. And when you go and pick a president, when you go looking for a president, what do you go looking for first? Where is the president going to come from? That's the region. And how does he worship? That's the religion. Religion. Unfortunately, when we have finished doing all that, somebody is going to return. This Maestro guy is responsible for putting that man in office. It's ridiculous, but it's fine. We go.
All right, then. Let us move on to the fact that today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will join the state governors at the National Economic Council meeting to discuss the new national minimum wage. We will also have Femi Gbajabiamila, the Chief of Staff, talking about that yesterday. That today is going to probably be the day. Do you feel so?
The day what? Minimum wage.
Yes.
Minimum wage day. I don't think so.
Wow.
You see, the end of this thing is not going to come from government. It's going to come when NLC is tired. It's going to come from the NLC side.
It doesn't seem like they're tired yet.
Well, it's not what they say that will eventually indicate that, okay, they're ready. It's what they do. And what they have been doing so far is that they have not been, reigniting the strike. So which means everything is going on, they are jojoing. I don't know if they are going to be able to get it back on. I don't think so, because now they have really opened it wide for them. They are now talking about not only federal government, what are you paying? They're not saying 36 state governments, what are you going to do? Now, OPS, what are you going to do? The government is saying, look, I can't do it alone. I don't think they are going to resolve it today.
So soon. All right, let us move to this story that the saying, those speaker orders a deputy majority leader out of plenary over improper dressing. And I'll be showing you what she was wearing. We'll be displaying that right now. because according to the news, saying that she was ordered to leave for improper dressing and also for wearing a dark sunshade at the plenary yesterday. So that was what she was wearing, which is improper. She said, according to them, it is against the rule, and also because the Halloween chamber is a sacred place and that dressing is not allowed. Yes, you can say that's what she was wearing.
I don't see anything wrong in this. How she's dressed, I don't see anything.
She was worked out.
I don't see anything wrong in that, and people wear these shades for different reasons.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have this, you're sensitive
to light,
to certain measure of light, and you put that on. She's not dressed like she's going to a serious occasion. I agree with that, but I don't think it's bad enough to walk people out of in a democratic setting. You're walking people out because of dress code, and in the People's Assembly. That's very dangerous because now they have a precedent. So it could be done against anyone now. I was thinking when I heard the story, I was thinking maybe parts of her body was exposed or something like that.
Yes.
I didn't know it's something as ridiculous as this. It's intolerant, and it's I think it reeks of chauvinism. You have some males there who are doing macho, and that's a mess for democracy. It's a mess. This woman should have been allowed to do her business. She's simply going to talk or even keep quiet right through the plenary. But if you go and find out what happened there, she probably belongs to the minority.
Yes.
Well, I'm just guessing.
She's a deputy minority leader.
You see now. So I've not read the story, but I know my people. I know this country a little bit. And I know that if it's one of them, they wouldn't have treated her like that. If she's one of them, they wouldn't have done that to her. This dressing is acceptable. If she wore something that revealed parts of her body, I probably would have been able to struggle to go along with walking her out. But no part of this woman's body was exposed. And I think that should be enough.
It was a point of order raised by one Mr. Nicholas Asonsere, saying that we have rules in this place and we cannot continue to allow
There is
people...
no way that you will tell me that your rules will cover this kind of dressing. If you go and check the rules, they will probably write there indecent dressing will not be allowed. Is this indecent? So now you have to be subjective when you are determining what's indecent. Because if somebody comes tomorrow, that person is well dressed in my own view.
Yes.
So long as the numbers say she's not well dressed or he's not well dressed, you could do that in the house in a democratic setting.
I mean,
it's unfortunate.
Female dressing has always been like a topic that when we start discussing it. I mean, we say we want to talk about female dressing, how female lawmakers are supposed to dress. It's always a tussle. We always leave it for the next parliamentary year, for the next parliament, because when we start saying, okay, for your heels, these inches, we have someone saying, no, I'm comfortable with this, with carrying.
I don't believe that people should be talking about inches and so on and so forth.
They do.
It's just nonsense.
It's funny.
Are you going to talk with your feet?
I mean, it's funny.
So as much as we can talk about morality in our gatherings, and is for a woman, as far as I'm concerned, within such context, if you're not exposing your body in any way, I'm cool with that. But even if you now decide to expose your bodies in certain other contexts, I don't care. I'll walk by you if I'm not interested in looking. If I'm interested in looking, I'll look and walk away. So, we should be tolerant, to an extent about some of these things. And I know that it's not about dressing.
There's something
It's
that's attached to it.
yes, it's way beyond dressing.
All right then. Let us open the phone lines for people.
Oh no,
this one.
more
As in, the sunshade is looking somewhat like, I mean, I can say it's insulting. Why are you wearing that sunshade? Just like the one we had Ajari wearing at the first meeting they had. It's more or less like a 873. But before then, we have to listen to this.
Thank you for your attention. It's been lovely to ask we have the People's Voice. Meanwhile, while you contribute to this program, kindly note that in accordance with broadcasting ethics, you are requested to keep your contributions modest, truthful, concise, and not to cause discomfort to anyone. Thank you. Now, let the conversation begin.
All right. Hello, good morning. Ooh, we lost that call. Not a good start. 0704.
Some more will come.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, my name is George Akume from the show.
No, I almost thought you said George Akume, but it's fine.
Quickly, I would like to talk about the drug abuse from the youth. Like, I don't know if this, if Nigeria can imbibe and implement this. See, the question are the problem is nonchalant attitude and I don't care attitude from parents. That is exactly what made youth to, engage in the drug abuse. Can government do something? Can they hold parents responsible for any inaction from their children? Because the mindset is, along with someone with it, and along with someone. No, you shouldn't give birth to children that more than your ability in this 21st century. So any child that is old responsible for it. That's my own suggestion.
All right.
So how many parents would you arrest in the north?
In the north,
On the streets, filled with children, that the parents are not even there for them at all,
or even adults that are above 18.
Yes, let alone hear that, and that thing is ravaging the north. That's the truth. It is here too, but at different dimensions.
All right then. 070410018887 or +234 704 7008873. All right, let us move on to the story where we have El-Rufai sues the Kaduna Assembly over the probe report. But let's pick this call. Hello, good morning. All right, Maestro. El-Rufai.
I think it's a good thing.
Fighting back.
Yes, because you are saying, I'm sure I did nothing wrong. And since you have laid this against my name, I'm dragging you to court so we could make this faster. Because if it's a political move, like I suspected strongly that it's a political move, especially when you have a lot of people on the streets calling for it, then he has all the right to fight back against that move. Now, look, I didn't steal anything, and I have been maligned, and I'll seek redress in court. Or you come to court and prove that I actually stole the money. So I think it's a good move by former Governor Malam El-Rufai.
Better than running away, right?
No, you won't see the likes of Rufai running away. El-Rufai will not run away, no matter how bad the situation is. He's not that kind of person.
Or even ignore.
Yes, he might even ignore, but running away wouldn't be. It would be absolutely against the content of his character that we're familiar with. He might be wrong, but he won't run.
Saying that, I strongly believe parenting is key. And if you check outside there, the streets, boys on drugs, it is majorly caused by broken homes. At the same time, nonchalant attitude of some parents caused by their words into drugs and bad companies. I remember my dad is the toughest. I was a school uniform, a board, a public bus. Okay. I later became my dad's best friend after all the tussle and between father and
I
son.
I think people lay so much on broken homes without essentially defining, because it's good to be definitive about. I came from a broken home, and so my siblings too. We all did, and yeah, you could, be wayward at some points, but you see, broken home, the definition at that time, it's not the same thing today. The definition has shifted. Those days, your mother will say, "Ta ló fẹ́ kó bá?" Is it because, so they will now say that, oh, it's a woman that brought you up, that's why you turned bad. Màá fẹ́ lù ẹ́ pa. Before you turn bad, you will remember that your mom worked on you. And so she will work on you in every way. Not necessarily just beating, but, paying attention to. I tell people, my mom bringing you up will never beat you because you broke a plate or something. Around that, but she will never beat you for breaking plates, at least the first time. And the other thing is, my mom, I don't recall my mom blaming me for, failing a test, not doing well in, exams and so on. She will sit you down, you talk about it, and you did better next time or something like that. So the parenting was, broken home thing that they keep talking about. I don't know if it depends on, the kind. You have to be definitive. That's what I'm trying to push across.
All right. Kazim Olale says, River State again, why is it difficult for the power that be to warn those that should be warned? The troublemaker is not hidden. Can anybody try all this with Fayoshe or Wike himself? Fubara is not a problem at all. We should stop promoting desperate leaders who have nothing to offer the masses.
That's true. We should, but you're restricted in that position. You're restricted because you're not talking about the entire chain. You see, the politician is basically not different from one another. It's only from season to season when you choose your favorites. That's when you talk, from the reality of the politician. And I've told people, you can take sides all you want. Tomorrow you see their children getting married to one another. You see Fubara's, son marrying somebody's daughter, and then you open your mouth, you can't close it. So you can't really go overboard.
I was listening to Kokora Latin last night, and the guy went ahead to stab a child of 5 years old under the act of hard drug substance or alcohol. May God heal our land. And that's the effect of this.
If you know what this Colorado and the rest, do to them, you wouldn't want to even come close to it. I mean, it sends them out of this world.
At the point of death, they'll start hitting the person.
There's nothing they don't do. It's even worse because that's not the treatment. But they believe that they could beat the person back into consciousness. It makes it worse. So the best thing is to reach out for experts. Now they even freeze. I don't know the name of the drug that they are going into in the US, and sometimes it's prescription drugs, and they might just freeze like that.
It's hard. I think they call it ice or something.
Yeah, well, ice is even old, but they keep redoing these things and so on and so forth. And we need a lot of programs to face that.
All right, Raja Fiza Bidimi says, on the issue of minimum wage, I believe President Tinubu is on the right channel to meet with the 6 state governors and discuss with them, because if the federal government approves minimum wage, state governors may refuse to follow suit. Have a discussion with them will go a long way. God bless Nigeria.
Go a long way, but it's also going to build a bigger body against NLC. Because when the federal government and state government and the OPS decide, okay, this is where we would be, then it's not just the federal government that you are facing anymore.
And that would be hard.
So I think they should, cut their loss at this point.
All right, Raja Hafiz says, on the issue of crisis in Kenya, honestly, I love the move of Kenya citizens. it's better to speak up than to die in silence.
People want to speak up in Nigeria. People want to even protest and so on
Mm.
against what's happening to them. But you just heard why we don't come together eventually. Because sometimes it's even an agenda, and you don't know some people are programming against the future, and you follow them, you go and do this is this and that. Initially, I was absolutely, on top beside EndSARS because of what this SARS had been doing to young people everywhere. All of a sudden, it turned into a political weapon, a program, and so on and so forth. So sometimes you have to look before you leap to.
All right, 0704-1001-887. 0704-1001-887. Or +234-704-700-8873. Those are the phone lines to call to join in the conversation. The Minister of Environment, Balarabe Lawal, has said the federal government is working with the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations to recover 350,000 hectares of degraded land in the north for agriculture.
Well, it's good, but what about the ones that we don't need to even recover? And it's lying there fallow, and the farmers are gone because the herders and the terrorists have sacked the farms. While you're worrying about the one that you want to reclaim, why don't you also worry at the same time about the ones that are there for you to just, go and start your schemes?
All right, then. Ola Femi on Facebook. Okay, we have a call. Hello, good morning. Hello. All right, Ola Femi on Facebook says, good morning. I watched a documentary on how people were smoking dead people bones. I was like, so dead people can't rest in peace again because of getting highness. Hello, good morning. I think
why does it keep cutting this morning?
I think we have an issue with the network this morning.
So you don't, dead people, they're resting. If you like, go and be smoking their bones. You are the one who's not resting, and you're planning to join them fast.
All right. I'm shocked at this news saying Tinubu is not discriminating against a North, and that is coming from Shetima. Was that ever in question?
Well, there is that.
Oh.
There are people in the North who believe that there's such a discrimination. So I think there's a pushback against that position.
All right, then. We'll be back for the final lap after we go on this commercial. And when we're back, we'll continue the conversation in the studio. Pick a few calls, if possible, if the network permits us, read comments also, and then finally round off for the program today. We'll be back.
On 88.7 FM. And you said it jokingly, the first call we take.
Yeah. Where that gun? This get a CV.
àtàwọn oúnjẹ wọ̀nyí fún ìdàgbàsókè àti ìlera máa fún ọ lọ́nà tí yóò fi pé ọmọ ọdún méjì àti jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Ìkéde yìí wá láti àkànṣe iṣẹ́ ALRIN, iléeṣẹ́ tó ń mójú tètè ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Madam, you don try this new Lush Hair 4-in-1 no lie relaxer kit wey get free neutralizing shampoo and conditioner join.
What? Me, I no deal.
You no even sabi wetin dey happen for town. You
Well,
see
that's
this
the
Lush Hair
money.
relaxer so.
E no dey pepper, e no dey burn, e go even make your hair shine like oil.
Na so, Lush Hair relaxer kit na correct. Wey no go make your hair curly, wey no go make your hair dry. E no dey pepper and e dey relax hair well well. Shikini time.
Oh my God,
Lush Hair, be beautiful.
I am pregnant. It is important for me to take care of myself and stay healthy. To be strong and have a healthy pregnancy, take iron and folic acid tablets every day when you're pregnant. This prevents anemia and helps maintain a healthy pregnancy. Visit your healthcare provider for regular antenatal care. This message is from the Online Project for your state Ministry of Health.
We can protect your car, your savings.
Let's not make it boring. Let's make insurance a lifestyle. If you ever wish your insurance offered you more, then you're in good hands with Cares Insurance Group. In addition to our extensive insurance coverage, you can also enjoy free benefits such as networking opportunities, up to 10% discount on hotels, gyms, spas, and your favorite stores, tickets to exclusive events, and free resources to plan your future. So, next time someone asks you, what does your insurance company give you, sir? Your answer should be with Cares Insurance Group. Definitely much more than insurance.
To enjoy all these, sign up on www.hairsinsurancegroup.com. That is HEIRS. Hairs Insurance Group. Simple life is here.
IPTV 88.7 FM.
All right, 070410018887. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from the world.
All right, sir. Your contribution.
I want to talk about the issue of this drug abuse within our youth. So I want to break it into two areas. And according to Mr. Maestro's analysis, okay, the first is from the parents. You know, these our parents, the way they behave outside, clearly show the parents' behavior at home. It might be hereditary, and it might be otherwise.
One.
The other aspect is that of the government. If you study our motor parks almost throughout the country, you will see this youth smoking in their end openly in different motor parks. So please, government should take it as a duty to call the people in charge to be arrested these people.
All right.
Okay, so today Indian hemp is another matter entirely, and that's another discussion because in a lot of places in the world, Indian hemp is now no longer illegal. It's been legalized in many parts of the world.
But not in Nigeria.
Even doctors are prescribing it in parts of the world. Yes, not in Nigeria, but you see, we're talking about crack cocaine. We're talking about a lot of things that have debilitating effect on the health of young people, and that's the health of the future. Is the health of the country.
All right then. Ashola Ojo says it is high time the president called for ceasefire in Rivers. The utterances from some people, especially Wike, is not palatable and shows as if they want everything to scatter so as to achieve a certain hidden agenda. These should stop. Adeni Oyewole says that the issue of NLC and the government is like a child who says his parent will not sleep. Himself will not sleep. All right, 0704 1001 887. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning. You're there. Okay. All right. I'm guessing that is the network once again. I saw this story. Oh, okay. Let's read Rashida Neka's comment first. A broken home and drug abuse. Nope, I do not blame parents for that. Where I lived growing up is risky for growing kids. Popo Yimoja, a peep from wow, I don't want to mispronounce that. You see people doing lots of drugs. Your reverse sport uncle can bear me witness on that. Okay, I'll ask definitely. It's sad. My own was bad that time. My own bad that time was gambling. I was the one who initiated that in our secondary school. In our secondary school, I have to survive on that course. We win. And that is to tell us that there are so many parts in the country where they see that often as a normal. Emafo J. Peter says that this President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is just the same like former Buhari government, no difference. Now they will be shouting past 16 years things has been bad. Okay, may God heal and bless our land. All right, 07041001 887. Hello, good morning, sir. All right, your contribution.
I want to say to Riyadh, I heard that the international that they have approved the airport to international airport. This one, I want to say so it's true. Better to Riyadh and the rest that is to Yossi.
All right. We
Some
already discussed
other
that.
time.
we already discussed that this morning, Seth. I mentioned
Even before today, I think we talked about it.
Yes, the international
Yes,
airport.
we did.
All right. This story. A man mobbed for stealing pot of rice in FCT Council. I don't know. It's not supposed to be funny. It is sad.
No, I don't think people should even be, punished for that. A pot of rice. The man is hungry. Wants to eat. It's sad, and it tells you what's going on. I said it on Sunday. An entire program changed direction because people wanted to talk about hunger, and I think that should get to our leaders everywhere that people are hungry, that hunger is stalking people on the streets of Nigeria.
There is hunger in the land. All right, Maestro, let's have your parting words this morning.
I think, parents, like I've been saying forever, should rediscover parenting. It's changing all the time. And the more we're conversant with the trends of parenting, relating to the current challenges of raising a child, the better our society will be. Then we could look at the flip side, which is calling on government to be responsible.
All right. I'll be leaving with this Rich Bass comment saying, I challenge NDLE and other government agencies that fight drug crimes. There is a drug joint at almost every junction and garage in Ibadan, from Olonda, Ujori, Basharu, all those kind of places, Iwo Road and Mokola, saying the rolling papers and other weed accessories are sold in open markets, drug-infused drinks, saying who the fool. All right, that is
we're
to
not
tell
saying they're perfect. We're saying they're trying.
Yeah, that is to say that we all have a thing or two to do concerning drug abuse. You see it is very close to you before you even start talking about the government. You are saying it, that it is near to you. What are you doing about it? I mean, you have your neighbor's kids trying to do this thing. So what do you do to correct that? Okay, this is how far we can go this morning. And I am leaving you with the fact that we all have a thing or two to do concerning the progress of this great nation, because we are all. My name is Muraola Yusuf, and then I'll see you tomorrow.